And now, coming to you live from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Ozark Mountains, it's Spooky Talk Show with Josh the Devil. And now, here he is, Josh the Devil.
Okay, not the right. Whoa, okay, there. Oh, there we are, you guys. And look, Wyatt's with us again. Hey, and he's dancing too. Oh, oof. Okay, little rocky start getting off there, but I think we're okay. The streaming software decided I'd love to go live, Josh, but I don't see that scheduled stream that you have, that you set up with a thumbnail and probably at least have one person waiting on. I don't see that. I can't help you, Josh. You must create a new stream. All right, well, so I did real quick, so anybody who was trying to watch on that one, sorry, we're over here now. I had to delete that stream and start a new one, and with no description, because I had to do it quick. And we got, okay, I'm going to take a sip of water. Anyhoozle, we've got a great show tonight, Wyatt. And it's not just because you're back. Let me see if I can move you a little bit there. There we go. Yeah.
I'm happy to be back. And I've come back on a great night too. I'm really excited about tonight. This is going to be awesome.
We've got a great interview lined up. It's gonna be fun. Now we haven't had a whole lot of luck with our studio audience, but you know, we're not gonna give up. We put the waiting room back in, but if you want to come in and jump on, then maybe you can get in our studio audience. If not, that's okay too. Yeah, there you go. You can also head over to our Teespring site and pick yourself up a Spooky Talk Show t-shirt. The links are there somewhere. And the cat's joined us. I set up a chair in the background, assuming my cat would jump up on it at some point. So, you guys.
Eventually, yeah. Well,
eventually.
I brought my cat, so we'll start with this one.
There we go.
At least it's not an audience; it's a cat-ian, but that's okay. That's what we can do.
Well, Wyatt, we got a really good show. We've got Trace Beaulieu and Frank Conniff, both the mad scientists, Dr. Clayton Forrester and TV's Frank, and from Mystery Science Theater, went on to do Cinematic Titanic. Now they're doing a little thing called The Mads Are Back, and it's just the two of them riffing movies, which they didn't get to do a lot of in the original show. Although, sidebar, for you looking for a Mystery Science Theater episode you haven't seen, go find Last of the Wild Horses. It's from season 6. They parody the Mirror Mirror episode from Star Trek with an evil Mike who has a little beard and in a different dimension. And Dr. Forrester and TV's Frank are actually on the satellite, and they get to riff the movie. And I don't want to spoil any more than that, but it's a lot of good times. Wyatt, what do you have you watched some Mystery Science Theater? Do you have any episodes that you like?
You know, I watched a lot of that stuff back in college, but you know that was about 20 years ago. So yeah, anymore it's just nice to turn it on and just enjoy it, man. So I don't have a favorite per se. But I'm a fan. I like the stuff. It's always fun.
Well, it's a really good interview. The reason that we've got them on and that I convinced them to come on is they've actually got something going on. They're doing virtual movie riffs. This is the second one that they've done. They did Glenn or Glenda, the classic Ed Wood film, first, and I missed that. I was on vacation. I was in the woods. Didn't get to see it. Although now it looks like I could have bought it in advance and then on the day of, like just on my phone, maybe downloaded it or something like that or saved it. But we've got a new one live this Tuesday. You can go to Eventbrite and get it. It's called The Mads Are Back, The Tingler, and it's the 1959 Vincent Price black and white classic. This is the one where they put little shock things under your seat, you know, in the theater, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That was so super controversial. And yeah, there's times in my life that I wish that I could go back in time, and I'm just curious what that did to people and like how upset grandmas got it. And
Agreed.
I think that's a really cool / terrible marketing technique.
Well, there were a lot of those weird promotional stunts, and it's sad that those have gone. Now it's the stunt is come to see the movie and maybe you'll get COVID. Ah. Little rim shot there.
I have to say, I do miss the movies. I miss it a lot.
Oh,
I passed by a theater the other day, and I was like, oh, I could go see. Nope, I can't go see a movie. This sucks.
There's nothing to see anyway. Yeah. Although, well, I say that. Bill and Ted here in just a little while is kind of a birthday present to me. We get Bill and Ted 3, which I was a super Bill and Ted nerd back in the day. And I'm really looking forward to the new movie. I don't care what anybody thinks. I know there's some people going, yeah, it looks like terrible. I don't care. I don't care what you think. It's not for you. It's for me. It's not for you. It's for me. So that's fine. So
how are we getting that free?
Well, we're not getting it free. But it is being released simultaneously in theaters for those, I guess, who live in an area where maybe that's a little safer than here in Arkansas. And then also video on demand at the same time. So I don't know that they've released a price yet, but I'm totally down to buy the video on demand, $25, $30, I'm going to guess. They're going to have to try to make up for some of that lost revenue. So I imagine the price will be maybe a little higher than normal, and I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
You know what I was reading the other day about drive-in theaters are making a comeback.
Yeah,
so
we've...
all of a sudden these little drive-in theaters are popping up all over the nation, and I'm like, and I was that weird in-between age where I've never been to a drive-in. Like, you know,
I haven't either.
I never was lucky enough to do that as a kid. And now it's like, oh, it's coming back. That's a thing. Like,
We've got one.
Really cool. I'm excited about that aspect.
We've got one here in North Little Rock that's doing. Last night they played The Goonies and then Better Off Dead, and
That's awesome.
and Better Off Dead is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I could spend a whole episode of Spooky Talk Show just talking about Better Off Dead, just that film alone. So we won't do that. We won't do that tonight. Maybe some other time. Maybe that'll be a special Patreon exclusive.
I'd be happy to join that one because that was a great movie. So I'm totally with you.
I want my $2. So I don't want to spend too much time because we've got a pretty lengthy interview and it's really good. And I want to get over there to Trace and Frank. So we did spruce up the set a little bit. We got a little bit of sprucing. So a few more lights. I got a little too much headroom. I'm aware of that. You don't have to put that in the comments. That's okay. They don't comment. They don't comment about anything. I can say whatever and no one's gonna comment about it. So okay, so Wyatt, I'm gonna ever so gently pick you up. Whoa, until we gotta get a body for you. Whoa, you come down there. All right. I'm sorry. I know that's ticklish. Okay. We're going to jump over to some jokes. We're fortunate enough that our head writer, Paul Hodge, is still sending us jokes, despite my poor attempt at reading them every week. Oh, wait, now you're in it's your forehead. It's me and Wyatt's forehead forever.
No, but I've got enough of it, so it's cool.
All right, I'm going to put you right over there for now.
I can show that off.
All right, let me grab the right mouse here. I'm juggling all sorts of stuff.
If it was a little clearer, I could read the joke.
Oh,
awesome.
All right.
Like I'm getting a behind-the-desk look.
Well,
you should offer this as a Patreon experience.
Well, here, I moved you a little closer. Do you think you can read it, and you can read like the second joke?
Sure, I got you.
Okay, all right. Let me start here. Arkansas-based retail giant Walmart announced it'll be keeping many locations open later after months of reduced operating hours amid COVID-19 concerns. But don't worry, you guys. You still won't be able to find somebody to help you. Oh, there we go. We'll add some applause there. All right, let me throw up the graphic and take it away.
Sweet. So, Twilight author Stephanie Meyer, she recently said more books are planned in her series because we need more books from Stephanie Myers. But she wants to let us know, she's promising that instead of the sucking blood that some vampires do, they're just going to continue to suck.
Hey, that was pretty good, and I mouthed along just to confuse anybody who may have dropped in at that moment. So
I feel good. I feel accomplished. I've told a joke on the Spooky Talk Show.
You did. We'll have to. I'll send you these in advance, and we'll get a camera set up on you. All right. I guess I could have picked you up and put you back up here, but that's all right.
That's okay. They can hear me.
That's true. Former Jackass star Steve-O taped himself to a billboard in Los Angeles to promote his new comedy special. He used to be on Jackass, now he is just a jackass. No, love you, Steve-O. He looks pretty good, doesn't he? He looks pretty good. He looks all right. Don't die on us, Steve-O. Don't die on us. So now, several places like Salem, Massachusetts, notable for the Salem witch trials, and several other tourist attractions are bracing for the possibility that they're going to lose tourism dollars if Halloween celebrations are canceled. Well, those places should just start now. In 1987, the industrial band Ministry released a song called Every Day is Halloween, and that has never been truer than 2020. Uncle Al would approve. You know what? I actually met the guitar player for Ministry, Mike Scotcha. I'm butchering that, who came into Guitar Center for a thing and hung out for a while. He was very nice. Very nice. Okay, what's next? Well, ice cream company Good Humor recently enlisted the help of Wu-Tang Clan member RZA to come up with a new jingle for ice cream trucks. Because you know that Turkey in the Straw, it's basically, it's based in like racist roots. So it's one of those songs we got to get rid of as when we can. And it's just so, who better to do it than RZA? You know, I mean, why not? The leading candidate so far is Push Up Pops Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. Oh! Oh, we have fun. And finally, MTV celebrated its 39th birthday this month. Thanks for roughly 15 years of music, MTV. And then, put one of those and then might as well.
I was thinking about it the other day. I think the last music video that I remember watching on MTV was it was the Beastie Boys. It was when the Beastie Boys like last album came out and they had the big video with like Ted Danson and like Elijah Woods and like Will Ferrell and all them. I think that's the last time I saw a video on MTV.
That was the last one.
2012.
Do you remember the first video you saw on MTV?
First video
that you can remember.
I kind of remember. I mean, I definitely remember Aha. I remember Video Killed the Radio Star. I wasn't there in like the beginning. I mean, I was alive, but probably not there. But I do distinctly remember the Thriller video, and you know that whole opening scene where he's the werewolf, and the whiskers come out, and the claws, and being deathly afraid.
Likewise.
Scared. Like,
likewise.
I would play, run away. Like I would run away, and then I would hear like the music, and I could come back because the zombies were cool. But it was something about that transformation. Oh, it freaked me out, man.
Well, that was Rick Baker, right? That was I think it was. Yeah, I want to say it was Rick Baker who did like American Werewolf in London. That's why it looked so good. I mean,
exactly.
And let's use that. Who else was in that that music video and song? That's right, Vincent Price, who starred in the 1959 black and white classic The Tingler. And Frank and Trace are going to really want you to check that out this Tuesday, the 18th. So why don't we hear from them? Wyatt, I'll just ask you to mute your mic, and we'll go now to them by pushing one of these buttons. I think it's, I forgot to put a shortcut to that button, so we'll push it over here. It seems like the Mads are calling. Frank, Trace, are you guys there? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey,
you're coming in clear and loud.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you guys so much for doing our little teeny show. It's so nice to meet you guys, to talk with you guys. I feel like I've known you forever, watching you on television.
Thanks for saying on television.
Yeah, not through the window. I've only started doing that over the last few months.
Okay.
Well, and there's a satellite feed I can tap into and watch both you guys, but that's recent. We are here to talk about the big event this Tuesday. We've got the Mads are back, and the Mads are back, and nothing's going to stop the Mads, not even COVID, because we've got our second virtual riff stream, the Tingler, this Tuesday, August 18th. So tell us a little bit about the Tingler. We got 1959, Vincent Price. What led you to this one to be the next film?
You know, I'd loved this film since I was a kid, and it was public domain. There's the math, man. It's so easy. It's a great film. It looks beautiful. It's William Castle. Frank knows more about William Castle than more than William Castle know about that.
Yeah, William Castle. We never riffed a William Castle film ever before. I don't think. Not on Mystery Science Theater. Not in Cinematic Titanic.
Probably couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
right. This like public domain
there's something really great about him. I mean, he was just a showman, and he loved gimmicks, as I'm sure you know. And with the Tingler, he had the theater seats wired up so people would feel a tingle. He had other gimmicks like that where for another movie. They had a registered nurse in the lobby in case anybody had a heart attack from fright. You know, just really fun, goofy stuff like that. And he also, by the way, he produced Rosemary's Baby, which Roman Polanski directed, but William Castle directed this. And you know, the movie, it's much better than most of the movies we've riffed.
I was going to say,
100%.
It looks really good. The cast is great, especially Vincent Price, who's always great. And but I think the script is just goofy enough, and where it's very riffable, and we've done it live many times, and people have really enjoyed it, and it's kind of a pleasure to riff a movie that's very riffable, because it's, like I said, it has these really goofy, weird elements to it, but also you know, well made, and something that you don't have to strain to hear the sound or to see what's going on. I mean, the people who all made the film were all craftsmen. They all knew what they were doing. So it's a really fun riff for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like comfort food. It's got, you know, all the elements that makes it riffable. Plus, like Frank said, it's got good production values. So it's I don't know how many times we've seen this. I've never stopped to count them, but I enjoy it every time. It's just Vincent Price. You can tell he's having fun. You know,
There you go.
He made so many great movies, and he's having a ball in this movie. It's a great classic kind of horror. I guess it's a monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not super graphic. There's one scene where they do a color process where there's a bathtub full of red paint. That's about as graphic as it gets. But there's just something so comforting. It's like watching a film, you know, when we were kids on Saturday afternoon, which is, I think, the first time I saw this. And, you know, with all the movies that Frank and I riff, we're not ripping on the filmmakers. We're ripping on the little seams and tears that are in the canvas.
Right. Yeah, just pointing those out, bringing those to light.
Yeah. Because we love these movies. This is one of my favorites. I love it every time we do it. It's like Glenn or Glenda. I love that film more and more each time we get to show it to people. And that's another treat with the Tinglers. Like, when will you get to see this film? I was going to say in a theater. We're not doing it at a theater, are we, Frank? We're at home.
We're at home. Yeah.
I keep looking around for Frank. Where's Frank? Like, but yeah, it's going to be fun. Tuesday night. Our
8
first,
p.m.
The first episode we did in the online series was so much fun, and we had a great turnout. The one thing I missed, though, is hearing the audience. We have to figure that technology out.
Well, in Mystery Science Theater, there never was an audience when we did that. So in a way, it doesn't feel that weird, but it's just so much preferable to have an audience laughing.
At least in the writers' room, we had more people.
Right.
I'm here doing monologue jokes on Sundays to the dog, and the dog doesn't think I'm funny. So I understand. I've seen some comedians, some stand-up comics do these sets where they'll have all of these monitors in front of them with all of the Zoom people that are watching. And so,
really?
And it seems really dangerous to me. It's like, because anybody, if you want to hear them laugh, well, then you got to unmute them, and they could start screaming, they could heckle, they could theoretically do anything.
Well, like in any club.
Right, just like in any club. So you'd have to have the right, the right person at the computer that can ban people quickly, maybe have
you can it's easy in a way, because the bouncer is just pushing a button on the computer, right?
Right, they're gone.
You can get rid of that person. But I've only done one Zoom online show, and it was fun. It was for QED, which is a club here in New York that I love, and but it's a whole different thing. And I'm glad that comics are putting those shows together, because we've got to do something. It's never going to be the same as performing in front of a live audience. But until that time comes again, and it doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon.
No, it doesn't.
We've all got to do. We all have to figure something out, and that's what Trace and I did with this, because when we were doing our live Mad show, people would always ask us, "So are you going to put out a digital version? Is this something I can buy at some point?"
Right.
And we were like, "Yeah, we'll get around to that eventually," But we were very lackadaisical about it, and because we just wanted to do it live. That was all we cared about, was performing it live. And now our hand has been forced, and it's turned out to be very successful. But I still look forward to getting back in front of a live audience.
I imagine that first live audience, they're all going to be wearing masks. So if they're just smiling at stuff, it's going to be very hard.
Here in Little Rock, believe it or not, we've got a stand-up comedy club that is doing some shows. They've basically removed half the tables. They've gotten rid of the front
like any
row.
show I would have done.
And all the basically everybody wears a mask. They're stopped serving food, and the comedian basically can just take off their mask, get on stage, perform. People have been going out as often as they can just to feel involved.
Yeah, I think people are desperate to get back out and to have live entertainment again. It's a little too early for me. I'm not ready to do that yet myself.
Likewise.
I just want to get out and watch some good college football. That's all I want.
And I know in New York, like the club I just mentioned, QED, they have an outdoor courtyard, so they're doing shows there. The Stand, a club here, they're doing shows like in front of their club. And people are doing shows in the park and stuff. So they're figuring stuff out, but it's challenging.
It was so nice. I gotta say, it was so nice to like see an event. And then, like, the familiarity of going to, I'll go to Eventbrite. It was already a site I know. Oh, yeah, I'll just go buy a ticket, just like buying anything else. And now it's been added to my calendar. That was a nice feeling. I haven't had that in a while. There's no movie releases coming out. All the ones we were waiting for are coming out later.
Yeah.
So, the bands that were going to tour, well, they're not going to tour. So we've all been just sitting around, and bands are kind of getting onto that. Guided by Voices. They showed up in my feed, and they were doing a big live thing like that, and it was like, oh, okay, I can still buy a ticket and watch a show and make a night of it and at least have something. And that's why I think a lot of us are really glad that you guys are that you guys are doing this, because we're already on Eventbrite. We can go and we're already, we've already got accounts there from buying concert tickets and everything else. So just being able to go and buy that ticket, it's on the calendar. That's so nice. It seems like a little thing, but when there's nothing going on that whole month and you've got that on your calendar, that means a lot to us. Dads with 4 kids who have no escape from this house whatsoever.
Right.
So
you'll be able to get tickets all the way up to the time of the show. I recommend getting them early, because we had a lot of stragglers coming in, probably parking their cars needlessly. If you help us out, we're also giving to a charity, the NAACP, our ticket sales as well. So you're not just helping us out, you're helping
helping a good cause. Yeah, so it's a fun thing. And if you have to get your tickets before the show or by showtime, but if you do, you have the option. If you can't watch it right then, you can watch it later. You have that option.
Right. That's good for how long? How long is it good for? A couple days?
I don't know how long that is.
We'll find that out.
I'm not sure either.
We'll put
that
I've
never. I think maybe forever, but I don't know.
I'll find out, and
I promise.
When the interview cuts back to live Josh in the future, he'll tell everybody.
Okay, good.
So
excellent.
He'll take care of us.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's this Tuesday, August 18th, 1959's black and white classic, The Tingler, with Vincent Price. Now, we don't get the electric shocks unless we want to do that ourselves, I guess.
I think people in this case, they couldn't get it when we did it live, but you can, if you want, you can take the initiative in your own home and set something up like that, So
seemed like it wouldn't be that. There's a ton of little toys that give you little tiny electric shocks, so it would seem like this would be the perfect opportunity. Since smell-o-vision will probably not be as easy to do, this may be our best bet to get a little of that. Okay. I've got to talk a little bit about Mystery Science Theater because as the audience obviously knows, and we did have Jay Elvis was here a few weeks back to talk about his Michael DeBar documentary, which was fantastic. But
it's a great film.
Yeah, seek that out. That's another thing to plug.
It's really, really
and
good.
his other film too, I Need You to Kill, about stand-up
I Need
comedy.
You to Kill, and I think that one. I think he just posted a link that's maybe available on Amazon Prime or something. So we'll go check that out. But we gotta go back and talk about a little bit kind of early days Mystery Science Theater. I was fascinated with the story that he told about the little writer's room, and that was kind of where basically Joel met several people and said hey, come and work on this thing, and then I also love the story about Frank, when you joined, because you came in and you just kind of got a call and you were like, hey, you want to come and do this, and that's like that's the perfect thing. So what were those that first season when Josh is gone, Kevin's in, we've got Frank now, so everything's a little different. That had to have been some kind of big challenge for you guys, or was it just everybody had a good chemistry and it just rolled right along?
Yeah, I mean everybody had a great chemistry right away, and I think one of the reasons, I think Mike Nelson was the one who suggested that they hire me, and I think it was because he knew that I was a film buff, and that my sensibilities would fit in with everybody's sensibilities, and that was just a really comfortable fit right from the start. What was difficult for me was the first thing we had to do when I got there was build the set, and because they had a little bit of a bigger budget for the new season, and they upgraded the set, and everyone else in the on the show, they're all from the Midwest. They all grew up around power tools and building things, and I grew up in Manhattan. The closest thing my dad had to a power tool was a martini shaker, and so I was completely out of my element, and I did a terrible job helping out. Trace and really knows about designing and building things. I knew nothing about any of that, and that was the only time during my tenure with the show where I was worried, well, maybe are they going to shit can me now, because I'm not working out. It reminded me of my other jobs of like working at Arby's, where I was always terrible. And then when the day finally came, when the set was built, and then we came in, and our task for the day was to sit in the conference room and watch a movie and yell out riffs for it, I was like, is that really what we're doing now? Is that really my job now? Is that going to be... we don't have to build any set anymore, and I was relieved, and finally I was comfortable in my element finally. But that first month or so building the set, that was rough.
We thought from New York you could be head of our construction union. You take over that job. I tried
to gouge and feather bed as much as I could, but it didn't work out.
Now, didn't you bear most of the brunt of watching most of the tapes to kind of bring into the group?
That came later. In that and once again, because everyone else in the writing room had another skill that they applied to the show. Mike Nelson composed music. Kevin Murphy was literally our film editor that year. the year before I was there and the year that I was there. He was in the editing room a lot. Trace was designing sets and designing robots and props for the sketches, and my only skill was watching television. That was the only thing I brought to the table. And so when they decided it had to be someone's job to watch the movies before we riff them and go through them and make recommendations and discard the ones that were too violent and inappropriate, then that job went to me. So that's how I got that gig.
Yeah. So the talent that was useless at every other job imaginable was the essential talent for this job. That's perfect.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah. No more Arby's. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Oh, so is it safe to say you watched more films than probably anybody else?
I watched a lot of but a lot of times I just watched like 20 minutes of something and I'd be like, no, this film isn't appropriate, and then I'd watch things that were more promising. I'd watch the whole thing.
Oh, I love it. That had to be very painful, and I imagine it was just
no,
like
it wasn't. I
was
being paid to watch TV. It wasn't painful at all.
I guess you just remind yourself.
Great job. I was very delighted. Once we finished building the set, I was delighted with every moment.
Oh, that's good. Trace, now I've got one of your books here. Look at this here. I've got this silly rhymes book.
Vintage.
Let me see if I can. Yeah. And I've got Frank. I've got one of your books too. I don't want you to
awesome.
feel like left out.
Now Frank's got like 5.
He's got several.
Books,
that's right. I'm working on my Frank collection. You were in one of my favorite unknown shows, and that's Other Space. And when I heard about it, I thought, this is genius. I love I love the people in the cast. I love the concept. I love the whole thing. This is going to be great. And it seemed like maybe the platform was the weak link in that chain, because I told everyone I knew about it, and they all were like, "What?" And it's on what? How do I watch it?
Yeah,
it's on.
It was a little hard to find.
It was hard to find, but everybody that I converted to it just fell in love with the show. And I want you to know that I don't know if anybody's done this, but I'm going to be building a full-size art robot as a replica, and it seems like he'll be really easy. Yeah, I'll have to make him full size. It would seem to be I'd have to make him radio controlled so he can at least roll around the house. Maybe I build
That's like the one from the show. Yeah, Paul Feig has that in his office.
I bet he does. I may base mine around a Roomba or something to just get away with making it really cheap. But that I love that show. I love the concept of just this businessman inventor who's now like, I'll put my mind as a proof of concept into a robot and then burn the body.
That's all Paul. That's he's such a generous man, and he's been so great to me over the years. He just literally called up and said, "Hey, do you want to be on the show?" Just like he did with Freaks and Geeks. And another great show that kind of got bounced around and has become such a cult hit now. Just like Other Space, I believe is going to be huge. It's on Dust now. You can find it on Dust.
Okay, then I can start sharing it again.
They just did a big launch, and so you can see all the episodes there. And it was so much fun to do, and the cast is amazing. They've all gone off to have huge careers, just like the kids.
Yeah, I was going to say the cast now.
They're all, what is that? 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think they're very everybody's very well known now. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So my hat is off to everyone on the cast and Paul, and thank you so much. And watch it on Dust. And there's a lot of good stuff on Dust.
Well, I really enjoyed. There were several of your lines that I really enjoyed, and it was all about. I mean, it's a robot with less. I would say less visible emotions than Crow. It was kind of hard to,
He's
because he was
more
supposed to be.
Midwestern, yes.
Yeah, and I love that there was I think my favorite line that I use all the time is, "Well, I'm delightful." And just that line, I love that line so much.
That's from the pilot. That's I think that's probably Paul.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. And again, I'm telling people going, you got Joel as this kind of engineer on the ship who's taking too much radiation, and then you got Trace as a robot, as kind of his buddy, and they're like, all the stuff with you guys was just great. And I mean, it was just that chemistry was just so fun.
It was kind of freaky to see Joel on set with that long hair.
The hair.
It's like, oh my God, it's Kate Mayday hair. It was a wig, of course. It's all fantasy. It's all show business. None of it exists.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Frank, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, could you for us, since no one else on the planet is capable, could you make the sound for us? The Frank sound?
Well, it's been a long time, so I don't know if I can get it right, but I'll make a try.
I'd love an attempt. Sorry.
I'll do it again because you. There
it is. There it is. I can do a part of it, not as well. I've tried. No one else in the world can do that sound. I love that. I love that. Okay, quick question. It seemed to me that there were numerous references to Morrissey on the show. Did those all come from one person, or did everybody kind of chip in little Morrissey things?
I think it had something to do with the fact that Mike did a good impersonation of Morrissey.
Yes.
And I think that would have probably come from Mike or Mike and Kevin maybe, and like more of the hipper people on the staff. My point is it didn't come from me, because at that time I wasn't really listening to any contemporary music. I listen to a lot more contemporary music now, but back then I was just I just listened to a lot of jazz and old prog rock. So so that would have been Mike or someone else. But I can always definitely say, when people ask about that, were you into the Smiths? Were you into Morrissey? In my case, no, I wasn't. And to my detriment, because those people are great.
Yeah, the Morrissey sketch, and then I know that there's at least one more where Tom Servo makes some random reference to the Turtles and Morrissey. And I'm like,
oh yeah, well,
what?
the Turtles, I would have been more, would have come from me or from Trace or stuff like that, like classic rock, classic pop, like the Turtles. And we're friends with Howard Kalin from the Turtles, so that would have made sense.
There was a lot of blending of archives. We all came in with like a film archive or a movie archive, or our passion for arcane information. And sometimes that Venn diagram would cross over into going, yeah, Morrissey. We all kind of have him on the radar. We have a little bit of distrust. And then we were also throwing everything at the film, all our references, from Zappa to classical music to classical art or fashion, which didn't come from me. We had some other really talented writers on the staff. I was always impressed with Colleen Henjum would bring in those classic art or music references that none of us knew. Like Issey Miyake, I think, was like a reference. I just learned things today at work while I was watching TV with my friends.
Yeah.
But we had a great complement of writers at the peak. I think we have like 10 people in the room, Frank?
Or about, I think when I was there, like 7 or something like that. The first year it was like 4, basically. It was me, you, Joel. No, 5. Me, you, Kevin, Joel, and Mike. And then it increased. Mary Jo came the next year, and then Bridget. Bridget Jones came in. Paul Chaplin came in with a lot of great jokes too, and
a lot of Hobbit stuff. I'm going to pin Paul to the Hobbit stuff.
Yeah, and also a lot of sports stuff that I knew nothing about.
Yeah, a lot of sports
came from Paul, and political stuff too, which I did know about. So and then Colleen Williams came in and brought her knowledge, and and it just it just kept kind of evolving like that.
We even had home writers for a while, and had they would take a script or take a
Right.
tape of the film and send us a script back.
Wow.
One guy who did that was some guy named Dan Harmon, who went on to do things afterwards.
Never
Never heard of him
never
again.
Heard of
Yeah.
that guy. I have a laser fart arcade machine in my den, which is a reference
I'm
to.
sorry, what?
I have a laser fart arcade.
I just wanted to hear you
machine.
say it
Yeah.
again.
Based on the short film, or the short series from Dan Harmon from Channel 101 back in the day. I had an arcade. I needed to give it a name. I was looking at various things, and I'm like, laser fart, which is a terrible premise for a show, but an amusing premise for a show. Man eats a
Great
burrito
title.
out of a irradiated microwave and then can shoot lasers out of his ass.
So it's-
I love it. I love it. I want to see the blockbuster Marvel Universe film of that.
Were there any films? I know that the licensing rights, obviously, is the biggest issue. I'm sure everybody watched a film and they were like, "This has got to be the perfect one." And of course, I'm sure fans were doing that as well. I'm sure you guys were bombarded with people saying, "Why have you never riffed this movie or this movie? Because it's clearly perfect for it." And obviously, it's the rights. Or maybe the content, obviously.
The content, I think, as often as the rights would.
Yeah.
We there's a lot of B movies, a lot of horror movies, a lot of genre films. Starting in the 70s, they start to get very violent, and very sexual, and we kind of steered clear of that kind of stuff. We kind of prefer the more innocence of the B movies from the 50s and the 60s, and there's a sincerity to the older ones too that we preferred. And also, and that's another thing, is then I think B movies started to become self-aware at a certain point, and they knew that
Right.
people watched them for schlock value, and they were aware of that, and they would incorporate that kind of winking tone into the films, and that was much less interesting to us, So, a lot of it was rights issues, and the earlier films from the 50s and 60s, the Roger Corman films, they were easier to get the rights to than some of the later ones.
I think there's also my comfort food theory on those films, and like Frank said, they're a more innocent kind of approach in those films rather than the gore that came later, and just enjoyable to watch. I caught part of a Teenage Caveman the other day.
Yeah.
The movie itself, no riffing, and it's all of those things are just so charming because they're so innocent now. They're just so badly innocent, and especially in this time of, I don't want to look at the news 24 hours a day.
Right.
So I'm going to put something on that really is like a big chocolate eclair of a movie, and just enjoy the heck out of it.
There's several that were made that were great, fun, monster movies to watch. The one that always comes to my mind is Horror at Party Beach, or Party at Horror
yes.
Beach. That one.
There's horror and there's a beach.
Yes, there's horror and there's a beach, and there's a monster with hot dogs in his mouth. Anytime there's a surf band, I'm in. I'm sold. I'll watch it. If there's a surf band, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be a surf band, but if there's a band poorly miming away, that I'm sold. I'm sold on that. But
same here.
It is very comforting. You kind of know what's going to happen, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what the mac and cheese is going to taste like, and that's why you like it so much.
Yeah, I want that formula. It's like we've all been going back and watching, nostalgic television. I know, Frank, you've been watching Columbo and Adam 12, and I'm seeking out
it's
that
comforting.
stuff too. Yeah, it's like
comforting.
It's not gonna challenge me with issues of the day.
Right.
I love that. Now, you guys were a little prophetic back in the day, because we saw you guys with items that did not exist then but exist now. Now, The first one that comes to mind was, and now keep in mind, these were all supposed to be ridiculous things. It's a comedy show. It's not Shark Tank. So these were not supposed to be real or, real inventions things that people would use. So, but virtual stand-up comedy, I can put on my little virtual headset and I can go and do virtual stand-up to a fake audience or even a real audience at this point, which I guess that's not really virtual stand-up comedy. But then, and I'm sure you guys saw that and you're like, oh, that's interesting. But I know you guys had to see the pictures because, of course, everyone had to share this on social media. The beanbag pants. Now, I'm going to try to put a picture right here where I am of you guys wearing the pants from the show, and then we'll show a picture of this advertisement of these things that are being sold now. I have to assume that came as a shock to you guys. Do you guys remember, what was your reaction when you saw those things?
Well, I think we were kicking ourselves because we didn't copyright all of those inventions, and
Right.
we thought they were a joke, but people have actually marketed them. The one that a lot of people sent to me when it happened that I thought was hilarious was we did an invention once that was like the outdoor treadmill. It's a treadmill that you walk on, but you can go outdoors with it, which struck us as an absurd thing because you can just go out walking. Why do you need a treadmill? Someone actually invented that, and there was film of it. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we just live in an age when the line between absurdity and reality just keeps getting smaller and getting crossed all the time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really keep track of what's real and what isn't.
Maybe a good idea to watch some of those episodes and start going ahead and putting some patents on some items.
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Because that may be just a treasure trove. People are combing old Simpsons episodes for glimpses into our future. So maybe that's the way to find glimpses into our inventions.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Gosh, I want to talk to you guys all afternoon, but two things I was going to touch on briefly. When was the first time you guys were maybe recognized in the street? Do you have any good memories of those? And then on the flip side, do you have any memories where maybe accosted might be a more appropriate term for the fan?
I've never been accosted. Our fans are the most well-behaved and polite group of people that I've ever met, and we've met people all over the country now, and they're united in their love of Mystery Science Theater. And I have never had a bad experience that I remember, unless I blacked out.
They slipped something in your drink.
They took something out of my drink. But yeah, our fans are the greatest, and I can't think of any. We used to get weird stuff in the mail, but that's
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I don't have any bad experience at all. And we do our shows and we do meet and greets before and after our shows, and we meet all our fans, and they're always so great to meet, so nice, so warm. And we do sci-fi conventions too. And the thing that people will say, when they hear about a sci-fi convention, they're like, ooh, a lot of weird sci-fi fans there, huh? A lot of weird fanboys and girls. I bet you must meet a lot of weirdos when you go there. And when I go there, I'm struck by how incredibly normal these people are. They're way more normal than I am. These are people who, they come up to your table, they're there, they're all dressed in different characters. They're there with their kids, with their brothers and sisters, with their friends. They're living like very, like wholesome, family-oriented lives. And part of what they do, part of what binds them together is popular culture. And they go out and they love the films and the comic books and the TV shows that they're passionate about. And then they come out and express that passion. They might dress up in a costume, or they might not. And like I said, they bring their kids, and they're all just having a great day, and I wish I was as normal as these people. I've never met a weirdo at one of these places yet.
Yeah, and I admire their focus because some of the cosplay that the people have built is just truly amazing, and better than the actual prop or whatever in the films that they're fans of. So I've got nothing but respect for our fans, and I just they keep us alive. We wouldn't be doing this event now online without our friends and fans out there who followed us across the country for years and years. So
yeah, I make my living only because of the fans, not because of anyone in the entertainment industry or any executive or producer who's supporting me. I'm being supported by the people who watch and consume what we produce, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that.
Yeah, there's no middleman with us. It's right from the factory to your head. So
I love that.
No one else to get involved.
Okay. Well,
although we do have a great, not a staff, but there's a bunch of friends and fans helping us out. Joe Martin, who's been booking our shows for the last 4 years, and Tim Holly, who does all the graphics. You can see behind Frank, in Frank's apartment, whichever way I'm pointing on your screen, there's a Tingler poster, which people have asked if they can get those online. And I'm meeting Tim Holly, who did that art. I'm meeting him tomorrow in a parking lot, and we're exchanging information. So those will be up.
Sounds kind of nefarious, but
are you using code names or?
Well, I'm giving him posters, so I got to make it sound more interesting,
Also,
Chris giving him a kidney.
Chris Gershbeck is another guy who's producing our online shows. He's doing a great job.
He's
we wouldn't have been able to do this online without Chris.
And also, even though we don't do the podcast anymore, our friend Carolina Hidalgo, who and all the people at the last podcast network, they've been really supportive and helpful to us. So very grateful for all of that.
Oh,
and every theater we've played, we miss you guys. We miss being in live, independent theaters and the Alamo Draft Houses and all the theaters across the country. And we hope we will be back there next year. Everyone wear a mask.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to say Misty's worldwide. It appears that our fan base is winning. Not that we're keeping score,
yes,
but
it is.
It looks like we're winning. I've
joined the winning team.
Yeah.
Misty.
Okay. Well, then let me ask you one other question. Do you think that because it appears to me that the ancient Mike Joel rift, that thing which kind of took birth on message boards. Do you think that's finally over? It seems to me that that's.
I don't think it ever really. I don't think it ever really was a thing. I think it was like a small minority of people who were into that. I think some people might have preferred Mike to Joel or preferred Joel to Mike, but they kept watching the show. Everybody kept, and also if you watch Joel episodes, they have a lot of Mike in them. Back then he was doing a lot of characters, and he was in a lot of sketches. And so they're all, and then when it's just Mike, you're still watching the show that Joel got off the ground with Trace and Jay Elvis. So either way, they're all Joel Mike episodes, no matter who's hosting.
I love that. I always tell people, I said it's like Joel was like the father figure, and then Mike came in, and Mike was kind of like the older brother, or just kind of like the brother, where he was still caring for the boss, but he didn't have that father figure because they kind of still wanted to get in trouble, and they were aware that they could do things with Mike that they couldn't do with Joel. I love that. It made perfect sense to me.
I like to think of it as Joel was the first guy, and Mike was the second guy, and then Jonah was the
third guy.
Yeah. I don't draw politics with my friends.
I love that. Okay, well, everybody needs to jump online right now and go ahead and snag that ticket for the Tingler for this Tuesday, August 18th. And you don't have to watch it right then. Future Josh will tell you how long you can watch it here in just a moment.
Awesome.
Guys, thank you guys so much again for coming on our silly little show. It means the world. We're trying to get a lot of little interesting stories from all the Misties that we can. We may even try and get Jeff Maynard and just pull people in who probably never told a bunch of stories, and hoping to get something like that on. And just, as Bill Hicks would say, I'm planting little seeds. When the day comes, maybe we can get a little a Zoom reunion. I don't care if I host it, but I would love to see a little Zoom meeting, with or without Josh Gad, with everybody in the little squares looking like the Brady Bunch, telling stories and remembering things. So if that's a possibility at some point, I think the fans are going to comment below and say that they want to see that too. So I'm just, like I said, just planting that little seed there. So everybody go get your tickets now and get ready for the Tingler this Tuesday. Thank you once again so much to Trace and Frank.
Thank you.
The Mads are back.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you guys. And you guys stay safe out there so that you can keep doing shows for us, because I don't know what we're going to do if we don't have shows like that to put on our little
Thank you, and you stay safe too.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you later.
Take
All right,
care.
bye.
Bye.
Hey, we're back. Oh, I love those guys. I could have talked to them all day. And okay, well, I guess I'm Dr. Devil now. So there you go, Trace and Frank. As past Josh wanted me to mention, here are the details. Now, according to this email, viewers are able to tune in from anywhere in the world. Anyone who purchases a ticket will gain access to rewatch the live stream and download it for personal viewing. So there you go. Check out the Tingler. It's on Eventbrite. The Mads are back. You can go to the Mads are back website or on Facebook. You can find them very easily. I did. And they even came on the show to show you how nice guys they are. They did that. It's amazing. I got my little box here. It doesn't have a name. I asked if it had a name. It doesn't have a name. So I've got my little box for movie sign, and I think this one opens up the hex field, and maybe this one calls the Mads. I think the purple one calls them. So there you go. Wyatt's battery died, so he faded off into existence. But maybe he'll be back with us next week. It's hoping that old CT Chris Terry will be with us to talk about the virtual Mutant of the Monster Festival, which the posters just came out, and damn, it's a good lineup, and it's a really cool looking poster too. So go check that out. If you're into the metal, then you'll be into that. So we'll see you guys next week. I think that's it. I think we're going to push some buttons and see what happens. And oh no!